Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jeanette, I'm the Project Junkie. I love to make things. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. If you're returning, thank you so much. Yes, we are still in my kitchen because my craft room looks like this. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about pricing your handmade items. I see this question every day on a lot of the groups that I'm in. Somebody's wanting to know what to charge, how to charge for this. I'm not an expert on any of this. This is what I do, and my stuff makes money, and I enjoy it. So take the meat and throw away the bone. This is what this is. Now, I don't do Afghans, and I have made several of the towels with the crocheted tops. Have not been able to sell a single one, even at $5. So I don't do those, although I still offer them for sale in my booth because I have so many. I don't do clothes. I don't do washcloths. I am going to start adding a few items, but for now, this is just for your crochet toys. There are 3 things that I keep in mind, and that is the first thing, the very most important thing, is to know your area. I live in a small farming community that has a lot of lower income people, so I can't price things like I would in a large city where people make a higher rate of income. Number 2 is the material costs. And that is always a big consideration, and I'll get into a little bit more detail in just a second. And the third thing I take into consideration is my time. I do not pay myself an hourly rate because that is depressing. So, know your area, what people are willing to pay. It's easy to do the research. You can get online and show what the median income is for your area. Just type in your town. Wikipedia does it for you. The next thing is the material costs. Material costs may be more, they may be not, I don't know. But for my area, this is what this is in small town farming community. So, for instance, a skein of Bernat blanket at Joann's is $12 a skein. And at Walmart, it's $10. So I use the $12 price. Now, at the same time, I watch for the sales to go on. I don't like to pay full price for my yarn. So unless there is a dire need for it, such as I have an order and I have to have that color, then I will wait till it goes on sale, because $8 a skein is much better than $12. It also increases my profit margin. Let's take this strawberry triceratops. Okay, she takes almost an entire skein of the pink and not very much at all of the darker pink. So I kind of don't really count too much about the darker pink, the accent colors. I'm not going to weigh that out. That just takes too much time and effort. But the strawberries are made with like a posh yarn, and I get that from Temu, and they are very small skeins. They're only like this big. And I can only get maybe 9 or 12 strawberries out of one of those skeins. So since they're so small, and they're sometimes $3.50 to $4 a skein, I do take that into consideration, and I just kind of lump the little green accent in with it. The eyes, my safety eyes, I buy those in bulk. So I get like 850 of them for $15 or something like that. So I don't generally add that in because, you know, what's a couple of cents in all of it. I just kind of round up the others. So, for instance, I would count the entire skein for the Bernat blanket. Even though it didn't take the entire skein, it took almost the entire skein. So that's enough. When you add in the little pink, it's gonna be real close. So that's gonna be $12. And you add in the strawberries. And yes, even though I can get more than 3 strawberries out of that skein, I'm still gonna count the whole skein at being $3.50. And yes, I got them on Temu and I try to get my discounts off of that, but I'm counting the entire full price at $3.50. I also buy my stuffing in bulk, and I just bought a 20-pound box for $55. And it's real hard to figure out how to stuff your items, because these, being for smaller children, I want them a little bit squishier. I don't want them real hard. I want them to be snuggly and comfortable. Isn't that just so cute? So I don't stuff as tight as I would for, say, a doll that I've made out of acrylic yarn. I would stuff those a little bit more, so you know that the neck doesn't turn and the legs stay straight and things like that. Stuff those a little bit tighter. So I take what the cost of a bag of stuffing would be. So like a pound of stuffing at $7 at Walmart. So I use the $7 as a baseline for my stuffing. So when you add the stuffing and the strawberry yarn and the Bernat, that comes up to $22. When I take my $22, I usually double that. So that's $44. So my price tag would go to $45. And that would be what my material costs and labor costs and everything would be involved in this. Now my area will not pay that. So I'm having to take these a little bit lower. So I charge $35 for these. And that drastically cuts my hourly rate from like $5.50 down to $3.25, which is less minimum wage than I made at 16 years old. Not gonna lie, that bites. But it is what it is. I enjoy making my stuff. I want to keep making my stuff. And I have to get at least the cost of materials back out of this so that I can keep doing that. Now, if I'm going to put my items online, I'm going to put them at $45 and I'm going to add $12 to $15 for shipping. Because I'm not sure about that area, or the area where people are buying these from, but I'm going to get my full cost out of it to sell it and ship it and take my time to ship it and everything. Now, like different stuff I take into consideration, like my little keychains. This is a little Jeep duck, and this takes me about, I don't know, 15 minutes to make. Again, we're at the pennies for the eyes. And you can make, I don't even know how many you can get out of a skein of yarn of these little things. And I buy these by the bulk too. So it costs me like, I don't know, $10 for 100, so a dime or whatever. So these I just make when I have just a few minutes, and I sit and whip one of these out. And I think my last show I had like 67 of these things, so I really need to stop doing that. But I sell these for $6 each, or 2 for $10. So I have way more time than I do materials in this. And at even at $5, my hourly rate increases quite a bit to make these. So I get a little bit more out of these. These, on the other hand, are also the Posh yarn that comes from Temu. And they don't take very much yarn, they take a little more time. But they are so darn cute. But the detail is what causes me to charge more, because more detailed items, my customers pay a little more for detailed items. So $10 is a pretty good price for this, I think. You know, it takes about what, 3-4 cotton balls to fill one of these? You know, so the stuffing is so minimal that, you know, I'm sure I spill that much. And the other is just a couple of feet of the colors. So I can make several of these, even from those tiny skeins. So $10 a piece is a pretty good deal. And this is where I make back where I lose on some of the other stuff. This kind of thing, where it has all of the detail, and it's made from acrylic yarn that takes forever. This is why I don't like to use acrylic yarn anymore, even though I have tons of it, I need to. But these generally sell for $45. The detail is so much and it takes so long. This little guy only takes me about 4 hours to make one of these. This guy took me 2 days. 2 days. 2 days. And that drags my hourly rate down to about 50 cents an hour. So I don't make very many of those anymore. Same way with this little guy. He is incredibly easy. Doesn't have a lot of colors. The ribbon was, of course you get, what, 9 yards of ribbon for $3. So this is $20. I actually made this one for a special order and I found different yarn. So I made a larger one that was out of the plush and she liked it better. You know, same number of rows and everything, but of course with the bigger yarn and the bigger hook, it came up larger. And she liked it, so I sold them for the same price. Because I had already quoted her this price and I wasn't going back on my word when I told her it'd be $20, so I made the bigger one at $20, but when I put it in the show, I put it in my show at $25. Nobody was cheated there. Okay, and something like this, who is almost as large as my Triceratops, not quite, and it's going to cost me, you know, basically $12, you know, plus the price of stuffing, so we're looking at $17 when you add it that way for the price. But it doesn't take an entire bag of stuffing, and I sell these for $25. And these sell really well, and this is my own pattern. And this takes me, now I have made so many of these that it takes me just a couple hours to make one of these. I always use full price when I'm calculating my material costs, when in all actuality, for my Joann's Big Twist yarn and my Bernat blanket yarn, the Bernat blanket goes on sale for $8 a skein very often. The Big Twist goes on sale for $7 a skein. So that's generally what my cost really is, which takes the yarn for this, the actual cost is like $8 to buy the skeins, and about 75 cents for the strawberries, and about $1.25 or so for the stuffing, which brings my actual cost for this down to about $10.50. So selling it at $35, you know, I'm still making a pretty fair amount. In the end, if I'm happy with what I've made and it pays for my materials and I can go make 2 for what I've sold 1 for. I feel like that is a good rate. No, I'm not going to put food on the table with this, and it's not going to pay my major bills. But there is more to going to a vendor show than just selling your items. No, we don't want to sit there and not sell anything, but to have people walk by and exclaim about how cute your stuff is, how well made they are, I think that's worth a lot. And also the social time. I'm not sitting in front of my computer. I am actually out interacting with people, and I enjoy that very much. Now, there are people that say take your materials times 3 and add your time. My question to that is, what hourly rate are they using? Because using an hourly rate here, minimum wage is $14 an hour right now. Well, if I used the minimum wage rate of $14 an hour, that makes this guy $56 before I even add my material cost. So when I add my material cost at the bare minimum of $10, that makes this $66. That's not going to fly around here. There are a few people, not very many, but there are a few that walk by my booths and say, I'm not going to pay that for that. That's okay. I have set my prices at what I'll be happy with. I do not come down on my prices. I don't offer sales because I feel like I am worth that. I have a talent. I use that talent. I appreciate my talent, and I feel like it is worth it. I feel like your talent is worth it. If I'm going to a booth to go shopping and I'm looking at stuff, I may tell somebody they're not charging enough because their work is so much better, but I will never tell them that they are too expensive. If that's how they feel that their product is worth, they can be their own judge about that, and that's okay. I do not intentionally undercut anyone. I charge $10 to $12 for my leggy froggies just because I think that's what everybody else is charging. I personally wouldn't pay that for them because I just don't really even like the leggy froggies. But the kids do, so okay, I'll make them. Now, I have a hard time making chickens. I just don't enjoy making chickens. Oh, and another thing, if I really don't want to sell anything, I jack that price up. And I have discovered that if they want it, they will buy it. Another tip that I find is if I go to garage sales, they have accent pillows a lot of times for next to nothing, a quarter, 50 cents. I pick those up and I will cut them apart and use the stuffing out of them because that ups my profit margin. So consider that. Now, of course, if they are dirty, I do not buy them because that dirt is going to go on into the stuffing at some point, and I don't want to use dirty stuffing. Having your items clean and smelling nice, that's another thing. When I pack them away, I pack them with dryer sheets. I just throw a few dryer sheets in my totes, and that keeps them smelling nice. It also keeps bugs out of them. I don't like bugs. Ew. In my vendor booth, I make sure that I accept credit cards. I do have a Square reader, and I take that. My last market, I had 2 people that paid with cash, and the others all paid with a credit card. My spring market, I had 2 people pay with card, and everybody else paid with cash. So it just depends on what's going on. I have discovered at a festival, people bring cash because they intend to spend cash. A benefit for a group or something like that where they just have vendors set up, I've discovered they don't generally bring cash. And a mistake I made at the last one was make sure that if you get a new phone, you download all of your credit card apps and your cash apps and everything to your new phone so that you're not wondering why your Square Reader will not work. Big shout out to all of the new subscribers. I so much appreciate you. I hope this helped you to get your pricing where you want it and to where you're happy. At the end of the day, as long as you're happy with it, that's what counts. So thanks for watching. Hope this helped you. See you next time.